Hi, I'm Jonathan Jay, and I run courses for people who want to learn how to buy a business successfully. And one of the questions I get asked a lot is, if I'm new to business buying, won't the seller of the business sniff this out and realize that I'm a newbie without any experience and maybe take advantage of me, or maybe just not want to sell to me because they don't believe that their business would be looked after by someone who's never bought a business before? Now, it's a really good question to ask. In fact, it's a question that I'm asked so frequently, it must be a good question because I'm asked it all the time. And the answer is reasonably straightforward. However, it takes a little while for you to adjust your mindset, because really, that's what it's all about. It's about the way you talk to yourself. It's the way you believe in yourself and the way you present yourself to others. So when you've got that inner belief and that inner self-confidence, that in itself creates the credibility. So how do we create that self-belief and that self-confidence? Well, part of it is through knowledge. It's knowing what you are talking about, which is why it's so important to get educated about the business buying process. You see, if you know more about buying a business than the other person knows about selling a business, you're going to be okay. If it's round the other way, well, you're not going to be okay. So part of that confidence and therefore credibility comes from just knowing what you are talking about. Now, what some people do in order to create an aura of credibility is give their business a fancy name and call themselves XYZ Holdings or Equity Group or whatever it might be, just to give this impression that you're a large company. Now, I'm not really sure if that's the right thing to do. In actual fact, I'm certain that it's not the right thing to do, because you see, when you're buying a business, the personal touch counts. And if you're trying to masquerade as a large corporation, then you might think that it's building your credibility. In actual fact, it's destroying your credibility. I believe that it is very, very important to create that personal connection. You see, people do not sell their business to someone they do not like. The caveat being, unless there's a huge amount of money at stake. But generally speaking, the owners of smaller businesses will sell to you because they like you. And if there are two people interested in their business, then they will sway towards the person that they like the most, the person they feel they have a connection with. So building that connection is very, very important, but that connection is destroyed if you turn up in a suit and tie with a business card and say that you're from ABC Corporation. It just doesn't work. So what we need to do to increase our credibility level when talking to the owners of businesses for the first time is, number one, know what you're talking about. Very, very important. And then number two, to talk about what you know with confidence and self-belief. So you've got to come across as friendly, but you've also got to be slightly assertive. And I don't mean that you need to be the deal maker who's going to go into every conversation as if it were a battle, but you need to maintain a position in the conversation, a dynamic, if you like, that elevates you just slightly, that shows people that you do know what you're doing, that if you don't want to buy the business, you won't be pressured into it, and there's always another deal that you are doing. So if you combine that attitudinal approach with the knowledge, you've got yourself a winning combination. Now, the next thing that you need to do to build your credibility is to consider what elements of your backstory, your CV, are relevant to the conversation that you're having, or the type of person that you're meeting, the type of business owner or the type of business that you're meeting, and take those parts of your CV and present them in such a way that allows you to put your best foot forward. So if you previously worked for a company in the sector that you're now interested in buying, then you would be referring back to that experience. If you previously owned a business, if you currently own a business, obviously, then the connection is already there. But finding those commonalities between what you have done in your past, or even what close friends and family have done, allows you to bridge that gap between you're a complete stranger to someone who has a degree of connection, of kinship with the owner of the business. I mean, really, it's just How to Win Friends and Influence People, if you know that book. So it's a way of just connecting with that person by finding elements of your own career history or even your personal life that link with the subject matter of the business that you are interested in buying. So in summary, your credibility comes from your knowledge, which is why I believe every business buyer really needs to know what they're talking about, way more than just reading a book or going on a free webinar, really knowing what you're talking about. And then it comes from putting together a presentation that allows you to put your best foot forward. And when I say presentation, I don't mean a PowerPoint presentation. I mean presenting yourself in such a way that connects with the person whose business you are interested in buying. And remember, if you know more about buying a business than the other person knows about selling a business, you are on the right path. Now, if you are interested in buying a business, and I guess if you watched the video this far, then of course you are, then like this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm show it to more people. Subscribe to this channel and then tap the notifications bell. So when I release another video on buying a business, YouTube will send you a notification so you will be amongst the first to know.